All right. Got through a spring game, didn't seem to have any injuries that will be lingering into the fall, so that was a good thing today. You always worry about that. I think Moko got a little ankle, but that'll be something of this. I think it'll be a little bit of time. He'll be back in too. So, but good competitive day, both sides. A lot of different looks, a lot of different scenarios. Thought defense we played well. Hard day to throw the football. The winds were about 25, 30 miles an hour. And we kept trying to throw it, and we wanted to, just try to create less piles of guys. But need to throw it better, need to catch it much better, too. And what we did, defense, we took advantage of some tip balls. I really thought we played the ball in the air well. And what we did, thought Amari ran the ball nicely, showed signs of really playing good. You saw some shines of one, the young guy making plays, Joe Keith catching the ball, running, doing things. And when we were getting the ball underneath him, we were able to get it to him. Offensive line-wise, I think solidly until Moko got hurt. Then we had to make a switch to put Trainer back over, and then we kept getting pressure with the twos because we got a little bit light there, and it affected how we played. But, good guys. Seemed like the defense we played solid up front. Look at the film and judge what we did, but you got to throw it better. We've been throwing it really well all spring. I was very pleased until today and some of the things we did, and I think the weather had a little bit to do with it. But, hey, you play in those days when it's 30 degrees. We got to throw it better and offensively create more big plays down the field, but it wasn't a day to do that. So got to get better at that. But we did it last scrimmage very well. So look at it, improve, look at the film, and then what teams got to do now is what we got, get everybody back healthy, and we got to have a great off season. And get ready for fall camp and be able to do what we got to do. Questions?
Down front, Cole.
Jimbo, when it's the spring, sometimes just looking for the best storyline or looking for a player who potentially has made a mark. Avery Hughes has got to be one of those names who impressed immensely.
Yeah, he made two plays today. Got opportunity to make two plays and did a really nice job. Really did. I was happy for him.
And then when you also look at Anthony Lucas being an early enrollee, when you watch his progression, what have you seen from him from the start of the game?
He has an opportunity to be a very good player for us and help us immediately, in my opinion. Long, athletic, can pass rush. As he keeps getting the schemes down and the techniques down, I think he's got a chance to be a really, really good player. And he flashes at you. He's long and athletic.
To the right side, Brent.
Jimbo, just your overall evaluation of all three quarterbacks.
I can't tell till I watch the film and what happened. Had a lot of drop balls and had some tough balls. You standing behind it, just throwing good balls, and all of a sudden the wind just takes them and runs them. So, but you got those days like that. If you're gonna throw it at 30 miles an hour and you're trying to throw it down the field, you got to figure out a way to do it. So too many turnovers in that group right there. Got to play better. Had been playing much better during camp, but we'll look and see why. I can't always tell why. When there was pressure or I might have been looking downfield, had pressure, or underneath routes, and they had quite a few drops today. I mean, we had quite a few. We got to play better wide out too. I wasn't very pleased in that regard. Drop ball, whether it's windy or not, you got to be able to catch a football and get where we get. But we'll look at that and see. I won't be able to judge till I watch the film. But nothing spectacular. But had moments early when the wind wasn't as bad. We made a couple of really nice throws those first 2 or 3 drives and picked up some real nice third downs, and it just kept getting gustier and gustier. I'll check my phone. I had a little thing on it. It was 32, 33, 34 miles an hour, and it was just because once I started the ball, it just started shooting, and it wasn't good. But say, you got to play in those conditions. You got to figure out a way to do it.
Down front, Mark, and then Olin right behind him.
Jimbo, you've talked a lot about Evan Stewart already this spring, but to have a midterm freshman come in and be the offensive MVP, you just talk about what you've seen from him so far?
Well, I mean, the effort in the offseason program, not just on the field, offseason program. Every day in the offseason program, he was out front leading everybody, running, doing things. Very productive in all the practices and scrimmages, and still has a long way to go. He's got a long way to work on what he's going, but has the potential. But his consistency day in, day out was the thing was very pleasing. Very pleasing.
Right behind Olin.
Obviously, I don't want to read too much into a spring game, but y'all threw the ball deep about, I think I counted about 10 times.
We were trying to, and then it wasn't today to do it. Like if you were calling plays today, you couldn't do that because you'd have to pick because of the wind. But we wanted to get those opportunities. We had it planned that way. We wanted to try to create big plays down the field, and we also didn't want to create a lot of piles. When you keep running the ball in spring games, you get this far, there's no sense to create a bunch of piles and get a bunch. When you create piles, that's where everybody gets hurt. So we were trying to, which we've done all spring. We've thrown the ball down the field very well on days that we didn't have the wind, and that ball kept. But still, I wanted to keep doing it. I don't care if you had the wind. Let's see what happens and see who can make plays or make catches or explosive plays is a huge reason you win, and it's a huge reason if you give them up on defense that you lose. And that and turnovers. Those are two of the most important stats that are out there today, and we've gotten better at it this spring, and we're going to continue to get better at it. And we had an emphasis all spring. We're going to throw the ball down the field.
So we can take that as an indication.
Yeah, you got to. You got to be able to create play. Everywhere I've ever been before. I mean, last year we didn't do it as much. Injuries, a receiver lost 2 or 3 of the receivers and things, but we're going to take shots down the field. You've got to be able to do it, and you've got to be able to create it, so you got to practice them and go. And we're going to continue to do them. Got to.
Staying on the left, battalion.
The fact that these early enrollees are stepping up, making plays, and getting these spring awards, what does that say about the future of this team and just to recruits?
Hopefully it's an immediate future, too. I hope it's something that happens very quickly in what we do and how we do it. But these guys have all fit in well. They've adjusted well. They've taken advantage of opportunities they've had. And like I said, they seem like they've been here for the whole time. They really have. And very pleased with those guys and the progress they've made.
To the left, Cease.
Limited sample, but what about the special teams? Sometimes you got to deal with wind
I
conditions.
thought field
So
goals,
what about
we
that?
had some really good field goals that when drive it through. Like I say, with 36, his leg is so strong that he can kick through things a lot of times, and he did. Used the wind when he had it and kicked into it, and our kickoffs were good into it. But Bond, I think, has done a nice job. I'm telling you, he's had a really nice spring, too, so very pleased there, and our punters were very solid. So in that regard, and you saw a couple of those guys, we didn't have a nice back there once. I think he did drop one. Now that I think about it, but that wind, when it gets gusting, you got to catch it too. That was the other thing of concern. We put a couple balls we probably should have let go once we misjudged them, and we got to do a better job in that regard. But it wasn't just him; it was a couple other guys. But fielding the ball was not what we needed to happen, and we've done a better job. But kicking the ball, I thought we were pretty solid today. I think it was one punt that might have not went as well. You catch it just wrong in that wind. If you don't get that good spiral to cut it, it was bad. But for the other part, I think the rest of them are pretty solid. And the ones they had behind them, they hit a mile.
To the front, Cole, and then Chuck on the left.
Jimbo, last year, Blake didn't really have many reps, but it was a lot of mental reps for him. For him to be
Who?
able, Blake Smith.
Yeah.
For him to be able to kind of see what he's been progressing, especially as a route running, have you been pleased with him? And
Yeah, he's
what his
getting
kind of
better.
role is?
He's got a lot of work to do, but Blake he's caught balls, had some really good days. Got to be more consistent in what he does, but he has a chance to be a good player. And if he can keep doing it, he's got to get more physical, got to get stronger to points of attack and do the things. And even when he's running routes, be strong-handed and do that. But he is a talented guy who has good ball skills.
Chuck on the left. We've got time for a couple more.
Jimbo, obviously just a spring game, but we saw Max make several plays with his feet. Obviously, he's
Yeah,
not getting
as I said,
tackled.
that's what I've been telling you. I mean, he runs better than you give him credit. Everybody thinks of him as a pocket passer, but he has really good mobility and good feel in the pocket, and he can run. I mean, he can do that. And like I said, he's continued. He's had a good, solid spring, and last scrimmage really threw the ball well. And, it was a very, like I say, it wasn't a surprise to me because I've seen it every day in practice. But to some folks, they didn't think he could move as well. And he's a very good athlete.
Go Brent, then Mark Passwaters, Morgan in the back.
You mentioned entering the offseason. What do you tell your guys going into what is an extended break, a true offseason?
Well, right now,
at this point?
now is when the work starts. You've put yourself in position of what you have, what you have to work on, where you got to go, and now you can make tremendous strides individually with your strength, conditioning, all those things. But also your technique work. You're throwing and catching and covering and skills and studying film and becoming a student of the game. Now is when the great players take off in this offseason, be ready for camp and have a tremendous summer workout program. And the leadership of the team needs to take that over and do that. And whether it's up front guys, offense, defense, the skill guy, whatever it may be.
Mark down front, and then Morgan, you wrap us up in the back. We got players ready.
We talked a lot about the true freshman already, but you've got a sixth-year senior out there in Miles Jones. How nice is it to have him back there?
Yeah,
And what do you think?
it's just great to get him back on the field. He's went through a lot of trials and tribulations. I mean, it's been 2 years now since he played. I mean, 19 was it was 20, wasn't it? It was 20 the last time he was played. I'm sorry, but missed all last year basically, and then a lot of this year. He just at the end of spring really started getting every day's reps and getting back in there and just having that experience and length and size. It was really good to get him back out there.
Finish up with Morgan in the back.
Where's your confidence level now in this team than it was in the beginning of the spring?
Well, it's it's very high. I have confidence. I had them at the beginning, and I've got confidence now. But again, as I say, it's how the leadership takes over right now, all the details in which they work, how hungry they are, and what they're willing to do in the offseason to be ready for fall camp to be able to go execute. We're still definitely a big work in progress on all three. On offense, definitely we got to get the ball down the field more, play more consistent. Offensive line, we got to get an injury or two. We get in pressure. And the receivers. We got to have some of those young guys are coming on, but we got to have more receivers play with more consistency in what we're doing. Tight ends is a big development, which we have to get going. I was pleased with Amari's running today. For the most part, Crownover had a couple of nice runs, but I thought Amari was really good in a lot of situations. And then defensively, I think linebackers getting better. Some of our young corners played and made some plays. Had a couple interference calls here and there, but we'll look at the film. But I have extreme confidence in them. But again, that's going to matter in what confidence they have in themselves and how hard they're willing to work to get us ready to go in camp.
Appreciate the time, Coach. We got Layden
Thank you,
Robinson
guys.
ready.